It was the sort of night that only happens once every 3,000 years on Dagobah. A velvet fog creeping through the mossy knuckles of ancient roots, the stars winking behind a curtain of ion clouds, and the croaks of 1,000 swamp frogs pounding out rhythms in the never-ending gloom. But at the heart of the tangled wilds tonight, inside the shimmering new dome of the Jedi Council headquarters, excitement brewed thicker than the mists outside. Yoda sat upon his dais, swaddled in shadow, the light glittering in his gaze. Age, as always, had not weathered his love for spectacle, nor his taste for gentle chaos. If anything, it had sharpened it. This was the culmination of years of quiet plotting for a game that was nothing like it seemed, the final round of Klingon bingo. Officially, 10 legendary Klingon women would face off against 10 determined human men. Each dreaming victory would secure glory. But behind every twist, Yoda's mischief lingered. He'd slipped welcome notes under each door, scrawled in cryptic hand. He'd hidden elaborate, preposterous rules in places no one would ever look, and programmed the android bingo caller for unexpected performances. Contestants, prepare yourselves. The first number is G17. When the android's servo hand landed on G17, bedlam erupted, like it always did, right on cue. A stampede of contestants darted into the labyrinth at the center of the chamber, dodging both the genetically engineered honey badger and errant daubers projected by a high-strung prize drone. Just beyond their frantic search, Yoda sipped a mug of bog tea, feet up, grinning at the spinning chaos he'd designed. And all the while, he tweaked, nudged, and giggled, telekinetically shifting the maze's walls just as a human thought he'd found a shortcut. Subtly, he whispered to the bored Jawas controlling the hydraulics, promising them double rations if they made things more interesting. Not content with merely observing, Yoda let loose a troop of trained Lothcats, each wearing a tiny visor and carrying helper cards. He orchestrated the Jedi mind trick rounds with particular glee. When two contestants locked eyes, the room pulsed with forced concentration. Quietly, Yoda whispered to each, "Already won you have, or lost perhaps." Human and Klingon alike found themselves utterly befuddled, swapping cards, daubing blank spaces, and, at one point, attempting to convince the droid caller to marry them, with the honey badger as ring-bearer. Audience reaction, galaxy-wide, was instantaneous. Holographic Yodas flooded storefronts, exclaiming, "May the force of luck be with you. Act now. Supplies low are." Children called out numbers from their bedrooms on remote moons, while retired Sith lords in shadowy lounges placed bets on the outcome, grumbling over the master's flair for drama. Near the end, with only 3 contestants staggering through the muck, Yoda conjured one final test, a round of spin the sarlacc, rules unknown, outcome unknowable. He watched, almost purring with satisfaction, as the trio faced their fate. Trapdoors snapped, the room spun, and miraculously, they endured. When the last echo faded, Yoda beckoned the survivors forward. His eyes twinkled brighter than the twin suns above Naboo. Yoda declared, "Win you did not." Yoda continued, "But stronger, wiser, and muddier become you have." It dawned then, for all, contestants, audience, half the galaxy tuning in, that none had ever stood a chance against the greatest trickster known to the Force. The real prize was mastery of the unexpected, resilience in the face of farce. Yoda then erupted into a fit of delighted laughter, his voice full of glee, exclaiming, hoo, ah, wonderful, hee. And as the crowd roared, Yoda finally let fly the laugh he'd been saving all evening. A sound as old as Dagobah's trees and twice as wild. A triumphant coda to another night of chaos, cunning, and cosmic comedy in the murky halls of the Jedi Council headquarters. On Dagobah, even bingo is never just a game.